funky with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Tell me where y'all from. What's your area code? Tell me where y'all from. Now scream. Tell me where y'all from. What's your area code? Tell me where y'all from. Now scream. Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Now, if you got a birthday, get your hands up in the air. Somebody say yeah. Now scream. Somebody say it's my birthday. Say it's my birthday. Say ho. Now scream. Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Hold on. Now, I know y'all can do way better than that. Now, hold on. I know for a fact that my zodiac sign is better than your zodiac sign. What's your zodiac sign?
Libra. Libra.
Is it Aries? Is it Virgo? What about Scorpio? Sagittarius? How about Aquarius? What's your zodiac sign?
Libra.
Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies.
Thank you.
You got your lashes and your nails done. You got your hair done and your face beat. You got your freedom dress on, baby. Let's go. Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Hands up, come on. Everybody, one time, hands up, come on. Let's go, don't stop, hands up, come on. Get them up real high, here we go, come on. Everybody in the club, hands up, come on. Don't stop, let's go, one time, come on. Here we go, one time, come on. Everybody in the club, hands up, come on. Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now.
Oh my goodness, I'm ready though.
Hold up. Everybody stop on the floor. Backing on up so we can do some more. Everybody, here we go now. To the right one time now. To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Backing on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song? Everybody, here we go now.
It's a cold dance to go to this too. Just I can't dance.
To the left, come on, come on. To the front, get with me, y'all. Get on up now. Hands up, don't stop now. Y'all ready? Let's go now. What's the name of this song?
Hey. They must have fell and bumped their head. Welcome, 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 welcome. Oh my God. Welcome to the Race Rel Show. I am Race Rel. Hold on, let me put it on that thing. And this is Hope Good. Hey Hope, how you doing? Hey,
I
smile.
am
Hey,
good.
girl.
How are you?
I'm
How are
good.
you?
Yeah, baby, I'm good. I'm just good. I'm just all right. I'm feeling all right today. I don't know about you. Oh my God. So I'm so sick of this election. I'm so sick. I'm serious. I feel like I'm waiting to see if I'm the daddy. You know what I'm saying, of a baby. I'm like, nigga, hey, I'm the daddy or not. Cause you know, you be waiting for her, cause you know she was a hoe, right? You know, like she wasn't no good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you sitting up there, you just waiting like when the
Is it
uterus,
gonna be me?
when the baby pop out the uterus, you be like, okay, is it mine or is it the dude up the street? You know what I'm saying? And boy, but
So that's what it feel like.
that's what it feel like. I'm serious. Like everywhere you go, there's tension. Am I tripping? Is it I'm in the DFW. Is it tension where you at, girl?
No, they were nervous, but
What you mean that was
you
nervous?
know, no. They were nervous. They were boarding stuff up downtown
For
and
real?
everything.
So what they think? People just gonna start tearing up stuff just
Just
because somebody
tearing up
won?
stuff. I said, well, we didn't know everybody was running downtown when the Spurs won, so
Wow.
no telling what they're gonna do.
I like that. I like that. I
So,
like that.
so
So
they
for
were
those that are
prepared.
watching, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let me see, make sure that people can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. There we go. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay. Okay. Somebody said, I guess I need to turn it off. So I'm excited about today's topic for a lot of reasons. One, because I think it is important that we sometimes talk about stuff that's not just, always comedy, you know what I'm saying? But also talk about issues that really affect people. Because as much as we are going to be affected by these elections, and we are, there's no doubt about it. You are affected by the election and the results and everything else. Please don't. Okay, I've already posted Hope, so that's why you ain't listening to me, because you're on Facebook. I'm just like, okay.
I'm listening. I had to
You know what I'm saying?
share
Every week.
and
So y'all, do y'all understand that
know.
every every week she tries to come in here and run stuff every week.
No, she don't.
And then
She's
I'm talking
answering.
to her. Look, if you look at the top of the feed, it says, does your environment shape you? So if the people can, every week you do it. Every week you
But I
want to
don't want to
argue
be
with me.
rude.
You're
I
not
don't want
being
to be
rude,
rude.
baby. Baby,
And
I've
say
been
to
doing this for a
somebody
year straight.
and
I
say
promise you, I
to
got this.
somebody, scroll
Right?
up. So I just answered
Or
a
they could just,
question.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of just listening, you forget
This
you
is
part
the
of the
way
show.
this marriage goes. You didn't just get married. You know this is how this goes.
You know what? And that's why I am happily divorced. Like we're married, but we're divorced, and we are friends. Our friends are friends. But oh my God, she just what she say? Okay, let me share it to my. Okay, all right, girl. Anyway. So we're gonna take a break real fast, so I can fuss at my co-host, right? So I'm gonna need you to check your text message, because I'm about to text you something that you ain't gonna like, right? No, I'm just playing. So, but all kidding aside, though, how you doing today? How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing?
I think everybody's good. They're saying they're excited. They want to know what the topic was and what we're going to be talking about. So everybody seems like they're in a good mood.
Okay, I'm asking how you doing, girl.
Oh, I'm good.
I think you forget that you are the focal point now. Now, I know last week or the week before last, you got 3,000 Africans trying to befriend you. And, they were like, oh, Lord, who that woman right there?
No. They was like, I need you to send me some money. Yeah, that's what they were like. So no.
Okay, y'all. So sometimes, people who's on the show, they forget that they are now the center of attention, right? And I be laughing at Hope, because Hope is not a center of attention type person, which is hilarious, because I'm like, Hope, you're going to get like 5,000 views every week at least. At least, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a terrible guest, and it don't work out like that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get at least 5,000 a week. And I'll be laughing, because I'll be like, she's not used to it yet. She's not used to, because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself walking down the street, or you go to HEB or something, and the people are going to be looking at you. They're going to be like, looking at you. It was a dude up here, and I didn't know I had people up in Dallas watching me. Knew some, but dude came up to me in the bathroom. Nigga, you that crazy dude from Facebook. I said, nigga, can I pee? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I got my piece out. You know what I'm saying? And like, can I pee? You know, but you just be surprised because people are drawn to what you have. You know what I'm saying? And it's all good, Ms. Hope. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping you to be good. So those of y'all that are watching, do us a favor. And I know, Hope, you got a team of people where you at, because for some reason y'all stay up all night like some crazy people and watch the results like y'all having a real baby or something. Like, it's going to be on the news for the next 4 years. You're going to know who'll be the president. But could y'all do us a favor and just kind of like type in and let us know if any major changes have happened? Not no crazy stuff Trump is saying. I can care less. But if, we got a new president, you know what I'm saying, that's been confirmed while we on here. If y'all can let us know, we really appreciate it. And trust me, Hope got people around her that's going to run in the room and yell, girl, Trump made it. Biden, they ain't going to say Trump. They're going to be pissed off. So,
and she is 12 years old.
You know
That's right.
Making that baby stay up. Making that baby stay up all night to
she own it.
Oh my God, to watch that mess. Look, man, I am, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But the topic of today's show, see how I do that? See how I do that? Because that's kind of what I do as the host.
That's it.
The topic of today's show is, does your environment shape you? Right? Does your environment shape you? And I think that's important, because I don't think that we are being pulled in different directions by forces around us. Okay. So we're going to talk about that when we get back. Don't y'all go anywhere. Please don't go. Keep it locked to the Ray Sorrell Show. They must have fell and bumped their head. Legacy.
It's the beam of visibility. Got groupies trying to convince me that they dealing with Lewinsky in my pockets where they rather be. Skating on thin ice, Wayne Gretzky. Let me press the issue. Chopper get the ring and knock your flesh from your tissue. Dripping on, matching torn, beat, car, long, speak another language. Throw it with the hammer, baby, watch your boy slang it. It's a must for me, dangerous. Whole squad notorious, surrounded by murderers. Same one screaming that they love us, be the same one trying to murder us. I guess you copy and paste in the right click. How you spell winning team, street lynch. My prohibition, trusting my intuition, driven by my ambition. Listen and pay attention, they wishing we all fall. My back against the wall, Jesus Christ a call. I coach Cage, teach the devil how to throw dukes. I don't take subliminal shots, I drop nukes. Dear mama, wipe my eyes from the sadness. I feel it coming up next. March Madness, wish. No love from my enemies, I ain't tripping. Stop saying that you love me when you ain't with me. They took shots, you ran, you ain't with me. Get rich or die trying, bet your last 50. No love from my enemies, I ain't tripping. Stop saying that you love me when you ain't with me. They took shots, you ran, you ain't with me. Get rich or die trying, bet your last 50. Fake pastors, they acting like real pastors. No sheep up on the pastors, so how you pastor your pastors? Freshman, you acting so sophomore. I don't deal with you juniors, we're dealing with seniors. Forgive me, Lord, but the Senate team is sending team to the winning team. Street lit is still winning team. We supposed to shine through the city, but you turn like Diddy, now you asking for my pity, huh? How you supposed to be transformed when you conform to the people that you're supposed to be lead? Touch not my anointing, I'm sorry, Lord, but your boy is in here bleed. You know it's danger. We the one that sounds and feel the anger. Real Daniels do real things. We lion tamers. Training CEOs who ain't ready for war. You know it's real in the battlefield. We giving you more. No love from my enemies. I ain't tripping. Stop saying that you love me when you ain't with me. They took shots. You ran. You ain't with me. Get rich or die trying. Bet your last 50. No love from my enemies, I ain't tripping. Stop saying that you love me when you ain't with me. They took shots, you ran, you ain't with me. Get rich or die trying, bet your last 50. No filter two. Legacy City, King City. I ain't playing this shit, man. I've been quiet for too long. What's understood don't got to be explained, right? Sorrell Show.
fell and bumped their head. Welcome back to the Race Rail Show. I am your host with the most, the crazy guy. Really? You gonna do me like that? All right, there we go.
Here.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm right here.
Okay. So anyway, so somebody asked me, they said, I noticed when I watched the show, Lord have mercy, this damn thing.
You forgot what they said?
No, Facebook tripping. No, I didn't forget what they said. I got this. About 3 years now. Yeah, we're gonna take a break and we're just gonna cut this whole video and fucking fuss with my co-host. But look, she's just see, this is called show prep. This is called show prep. I start this like soon as the last show ends. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah. I know
you know what? So here's what's funny, y'all. Here's what's funny. Let me tell you why we fussing. My friend does not go to sleep the night on election. She stays up 24 hours. So is beautiful, but she's sleepy. If anybody know her in real life, they know that this Negro will not go to sleep. I don't know why she don't do this. That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, girl, I know what I'm doing. So anyway, somebody asked me. They asked me last week. They said, why, do you put a certain movie in the background, right? Mm-hmm. 2 reasons. One, I'm too cheap to go and buy just a standing thing in the back that just says the Race Rail Show because that costs like $300. And the other thing is I am a person who believes in left brain, right brain type of imaging. And sometimes people learn from different ways. So I put stuff in the background to normally mimic in some form or fashion what we're talking about. Okay. So, and it's funny because people be texting me during the show and they be like, okay, what movie is that? What movie is that? Like we doing a quiz. Like what movie is that? And I'll be like, oh, you wait till the movie over. You're like, oh, I get that's Color Purple. And I'm like, yeah, it's Color Purple. You didn't see Prince? Like that's like the only movie he had that was funny. Like that was good.
The other movie was not in the Color Purple. It's Purple Rain.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
And yeah, it's Purple Rain. Color Purple is with.
Well, he was in Purple Rain too, though. He was Harpo.
He trying, y'all. He trying me.
Okay. So another
he's
thing
never
I
made
don't
a
know,
movie that was trash.
Is the for years we've been arguing for 20 years who's the best, Michael Jackson and Prince, right? And record sales and when he died, everything proves that I won. Like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it proves that I won. It did.
Because when Prince died, it was like, and then the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like
when Michael died,
the news said, "Oh my
half
God,
of the
Prince
world mourned."
down.
And when Prince died, Earth mourned. The water, the skies, the sun, and the rain turned purple.
So let me tell you how it went. Let me just tell you how it went. Because you live in a delusional
every year.
World. Okay.
From 79.
You know why he did that?
Because the day he died.
It wasn't selling. Michael wrote an album every 5 years because he had to do a world tour. Prince was just doing he was doing Midtown in San Antonio. They ain't got Midtown no more, right? They were doing Midtown. he was doing the Chili Willies in the country. You know
you're upsetting my friends, right? Talking about my man. You're upsetting my friends. They about to start putting some stuff on here.
I ain't scared of y'all.
I'll call him whatever y'all want.
And it's
say
funny
whatever you want.
Because look, this is how it went. This is how it went. Let me tell you how it went. This is how it went. They did like this. Breaking news. Prince is dead. And now the weather.
Lies.
I'm just playing. Oh my God, I'm just
He's
playing.
So disrespectful, y'all.
It's so funny to me. I'm sorry. Because I know how she feels about Prince. That's why I'm talking trash. All right. I like Prince too. I did. I think Prince was a very talented person and stuff, but we ain't talking about Prince. So anyway, but anyway, that's why we do the background thing or whatever, because I didn't feel like typing all that last week. So anyway, today we're going to deal with this environment thing. I know what my definition of an environment is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ask you, what is your definition or your perception of environment? And then I'm gonna tell you mine. And then if y'all on Facebook or whatever, y'all can tell it's yours because, you know, I'm curious. I want to make sure we're all on the same page because my perception of what an environment is might be different than somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? So hope that
Okay.
it's all good. What's your perception or what is your,
I think your environment begins in your home environment, and then and of course your home, intertwines with your culture,
okay.
and then outside of that is your environment, the area that you live in. Remember when before cable and all of that, you used to go out of town to your little friends' house, your cousins in the country, and you say, y'all know how to do this? Y'all got this dance? Y'all got this dance? So I think outside of your home, has something to do with it too. So
Okay.
that's what I think environment.
So inside your home is
Culture.
is your okay, your culture, your so is your home your culture?
Yeah, I think your home is your home, and I think it is your culture, and then whatever ethnicity that's going to intertwine with your culture,
Okay.
because there's certain things that each group does culturally, no matter where they are.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. I like that. So with me, I think I look at environment a little bit differently. I agree with what you said. But I think it's just more so what you see, what you hear, what you can touch, and more importantly, what affects you. You know what I'm saying? So, we can deal with, and we are going to talk about the macro, and exosystems and ESO and all the, micro and everything else, because I'm a nerd. But I just want us to be on the same page because I think it does affect us whether we think it does or doesn't. You know what I'm saying? I think the things that we go through on a daily basis are a direct influence or a direct connection with the environment in which we touch. You know what I'm saying? And as we go into the show, I want us to just, for those that are watching and everything else, we've already talked about this and argued about this between ourselves, but I want us to really think about that because I don't think we understand how deeply it affects us. The things we've seen: boys wear blue, girls wear pink, boys don't cry. And then depending on the house that you live in, girls cook, boys cut the grass. Girls don't cut, guys, we work on cars, but women, they bake pies. You know what I'm saying?
And it does. It depends on the environment because I was cutting wood and working on cars and cooking, and I was the only girl, the only child, the only girl. And so I didn't get
we're going to talk about that.
I didn't get that part. So, his whole thing was, I was told like the boys, you ain't gonna be no punk. You ain't gonna be no punk. So you get stuck on the side of the road, you need to get out the car and fix your car. You get cold and the fireplace is here, you need to know how to chop wood. So it's definitely your environment.
So let me ask you.
And I know that the girls.
Go ahead. So let me ask you this though, and it's kind of interesting that you said that. Does that make you a punk? Because and this is
change my own tire.
Yeah, because a lot of people, some people will tell you that not you, are too independent. So another man that comes in and here you are changing the tire, you're like, yo, man, that's my job. You know what I'm saying? And then it can cause friction because if your environment is very different than my environment, then we can find ourselves at odds because of the way that we was raised. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct, but it just depends on when the conversation takes place. Because if I go to the door and you standing behind me and you don't open the door, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what I'm doing is waiting on you to open the door. And he's like, well, I opened the door, but you changed the tire, So sometimes you just have to tell them, when you're not going to be the man, then I'm stepping up being the man. I would prefer you be the man and I get to be the woman in some cases.
But what does that even mean?
That means that I would love for you to change the tire, but if I'm on the side of the road and 20 miles from the home that we live in, what I look like waiting on you to get there and all this stuff, I'm gonna let you know, hey, tires messed up. I'm gonna change it out, bring it home busted. You can go get us a new one. And if you're close by, say, don't get out that car. then
So
I'll
he
wait.
can go and buy the new tire. That would
Yeah, he can go do that. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it home on the spare, and then he can go take it and do the rest of that.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I love how the man was not able to come and rescue you and be the hero, because that's part of what we've been taught. That no, I'm not saying it's
And
wrong.
I'm just saying that's
No,
a
no,
rescue.
no, no, no. Later on, this is what I want you to do. I want you to watch your facial expressions later on when you watch this show. You'll be rolling your eyes and be like, and I'm just trying to understand, because here's the thing. A lot of times we have been taught as men to be heroes. That's why we get into it with women, because we try to solve your problems. And a lot of times you don't want us to be, solving them. You just want us to listen.
Yeah.
That's not how we was taught, because our environment has told us, see how it goes back to the thing, see how good I am? The environment has taught us that it's our job to rescue you. So yes, you could wait 30 minutes for us to come and save you, because it saves his ego. But at the same time, I understand your concept too, and your perception of, look, it's hot. I know how to change the tire myself. So let me go ahead and do this right here. But if that
But
was,
I think,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
But I think we step back. I think we step back. Like if you said, like if I was on 410 and I pulled over on 410 and you was like, no, don't mess with that tire, I'm on my way, then I would listen to that. But if I'm right here in Denver Heights and the tire's messed up, I done sat in Denver Heights, changed my tire, and watched men I grew up with just driving by. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna slash his tomorrow, because he didn't even check to see if I needed any help.
Okay, but see, and okay, we're still dealing with environment, and of course, we're kind of still dealing with last week's topic, single in 2020. Because now, listen, and this is just real talk. A lot of times we'll tell women how we feel, and I'm not saying y'all just disregard it, but I don't really think y'all understand it, because a man would feel some kind of way, and I say a man will feel some kind of way about his woman's changing the tire when he's on the way. And then you say, well, you can use your money to buy a new tire, but everything else, I've already done it. And again, I think it depends.
Not too much is money, but just do the rest. Like, I don't want to take the spare off, have them sit there while they put the spare back underneath the car, argue with them about which tire to get. I don't want to do all that part.
But are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because your environment controls your thinking. And what you started off saying was, my dad taught me. You actually didn't even say that. You just assumed we knew you was talking about your dad. You say, he said, and that's just how you say it, because you're an only child, spoiled. And
my daddy.
My daddy said, you ain't gonna be no punk, you gonna chop wood. And I think that's great. But I think that a lot of times you have to, before you get serious with a person, you need to go to their environment. You see how they grew up, right? You need to see how they was raised. You need to see how they think. You see what type of church they go to. You know what I'm saying? Do you go to like a holiness church? Because you go to holiness church, you understand why she wear dresses all the time. You know what I'm saying? If you see her loose, then you know she go to the Baptist church. I'm sorry. I'm just shots fired. Okay, I'm sorry. It was just funny to me because it was a good joke. It was funny to me.
He just had to throw that in there.
Shots fired. No, but real talk though. And look, I don't think anybody's right, anybody's wrong. Y'all call in and help us with this 972-510-5446. It is pinned in the comments. Because here's the thing. As a man, there's some things that's just innate in us. And when a woman violates that, without her even knowing she violates it, then we begin to move back. And then after we move back for so many years, I've heard women say, oh, it just ain't no good man around. Well, you haven't let a man be a man. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
Because believe it or not, us coming to your rescue builds our self-esteem and saying that she wants me, but she also needs me. And nowadays we live in a society where women say, I don't need no man. I can do it myself. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need anything. And then when they get by themselves.
I don't think we sound like that. I don't think we sound like that.
Have you ever dated a woman? Have you ever dated a woman? Have you ever dated a woman? That's all I want to say. Have you ever dated anybody with a uterus? Have you ever dated anybody with a uterus?
I know a bunch of people with uteruses and they don't sound like that. I'm just saying. They don't sound like that.
Okay, man, y'all help me out because sometimes this woman, she's a lot of women are so delusional. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Maybe people that you know don't sound like that in front of you.
Maybe that's what it is.
But if all the men are saying the same thing, they're like when women say, you know, men don't do this, men don't do that. After a while, we got to start listening. We got to start saying, you know what?
And I get that.
Maybe
And I
what
get
they're
that.
saying is true. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because I get that because I've been to somebody's house and she's a wife. And so I was there, we were gonna do wine and movies, right? So we're sitting there and I'm like, what are we waiting on? And she's like, well, I don't know how to do the DVD player. And I was like, so what are we waiting on? She's like, well, I'm waiting on my husband to come downstairs to put the movie on. I said, are you serious? She's like, yeah. I said, you know, right here is a button that says open. Look right here. Look, watch this. I said, and then you take the DVD out and you drop it in there. I said, but we're going to wait on him to do that. You want him to come all the way down the stairs, stop what he's doing just to do that? And she's like, yeah. I said, oh, okay. And I was just like,
are they happily married? Are they happily married?
Oh yeah, they have.
So it works for them.
It works for them.
You know what I'm saying? But a strong, independent woman who's the only child, that wouldn't work because you'd be like, "Look, I can fix the DVD player. I can take it apart. I can take it apart."
Well, I'm just thinking, what is he doing upstairs that he got to come all the way downstairs, push open, and put the CD in there and push it again? Why can't you do that? Like, why are you such a wife to the point where you can't do something as simple as that? I don't understand it. So that's all I was saying.
And this is why, because you bring up a great point, because there are people who've been married a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people got married young in their 20s and they stuck it out. They've been married 20 years, 25 years, and now they're divorced. And they don't know how to turn on a DVD player. You know what I'm saying? Or they're expecting another man who has not been in that environment with them for 25 years to come from downstairs and press the DVD player. Yeah, it might work for some men. Some men might like that. Oh, I'm the hero. But other men might be like, what the hell? You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for people to communicate and figure out what's important. Now, when we talk about the environment, I want us to deal with the first part that directly affects us, right? And, you know, if I'm a nerd, so please forgive me, it's what we call micro, right? Micro things, your family, your peers, your siblings. Now, when I wrote this, I sent it to you, and I was wondering if you was gonna say anything about the sibling part, and I was like, okay, I got to bring it up on the show, because if a person is the only child, they're totally different. Like if you date a person who's the only child, it is different, and I'm not being funny. I'm
listening. I'm curious,
and it's different from dating a person who has siblings, like in the household. And then it's different if they're the baby, they're the oldest, or if they're the middle child. You know what I'm saying? Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay, so if you're dating a person and you got 5 brothers and sisters or whatever, and you're the oldest, and then you're dating somebody that's the only child, I think that's going to be kind of hard at times, because the only child is probably going to be a little bit more independent. Am I right? But also going to be a little bit more spoiled.
The only child should date the middle child or the baby.
Why is that?
Because if the only child dates the middle child is used to being ignored. The only child is used to having attention. So they will put that attention on that middle child. And that'll give that middle child something they're not used to. So they do really well together. And then we do really well with the baby of the family, because the baby of the family usually gets everything. The only child has everything. And so they get along really well. But when you date, it works out really well if you date somebody that's the middle child or the baby. The oldest and the only child usually butt heads.
Okay. I can see that's a different type of philosophy. I've never heard that before. I'm not going to say I disagree with you. I just never heard that. Like, you must have really thought about this, because you are.
It's been proven.
It's been proven by who? Okay, so you got peer reviewed results and studies and stuff. Okay. I mean,
it's just been said that when you do the personality test, like when you do personality tests to
Made up by
hire
white folks.
somebody,
Made up by white folks. Okay, go ahead.
when you do personality tests and you figure out the kind of personalities you're hiring,
Okay.
if you're the boss and you hire somebody that's the only, that you find out, oh well, what, you know, where are you in the line of family with your kids, and you find out they're the oldest, yeah, they're going to get things done and things like that. If you find out they're the middle child, they know how to do things independently, they're used to being ignored. So if you hire that person and you praise that person and you give to that person, even in dating, when you date them, it usually works out really well.
So would you respectfully agree that it also will depend on the culture of that family?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know woman in particular who was the only child, but they made sure she was not spoiled at all, like she was a grinder. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I also know guys who were the only child, and they were super spoiled because they was an apple of mama's eye or the apple of daddy's eye. And they just got away with it, murder. And then they was the oldest, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think it might depend on something, but how can your peers, and even your family upbringing, how could they affect you, or can they affect you? Because a lot of people say, don't nobody affect me. I do my stuff. Oh my God, I do everything myself. But I'm just asking, do you feel like other people affect who you are, whether you're only child or whatever?
Yeah, because you know, you can grow up in your household and your household, they can say positive things to you all the time, and then you get to school and somebody says, why's your hair like that?
Okay.
You know, why is this? And so outside of the house, you never had a problem. Then when you get outside of your house and you get to your school and people have problems with it, then you start looking at yourself a different way. So outside of your house can affect you.
So
Other people can affect you.
So watch this right here. I think this is important. So do you think that we're more affected? And I'm asking, I really, I'm very curious to your thoughts, or anybody that's watching, that's commenting right now. I'm really curious. Do you think we're more affected by our home life or the people outside of the house?
I think it just depends on if the home life is positive and the outside life is negative. That can negatively affect you for however many hours you're dealing with the negativity, and then you get home and can relax. Or if the outside is positive and home life is negative, it just depends.
Okay.
Think of like a foster kid. They might be more comfortable, you know, they might be more comfortable at school than at home, you know? And then because of what they're dealing with. So it just depends.
That's interesting, and I never thought about that. But and not just foster kids that are adopted. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe your home life is chaotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or step kids.
Yes. So I think that's important because, and again, as you get to meet people, right? As you know, we're kind of still dealing with the single life in 2020 and even the environment. You have to know where these people come from. And it's funny because a lot of people don't want to talk about the upbringing. They don't want to talk about whatever, you know, are you the middle child? Because it's uncomfortable, because a lot of us need therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come from.
And you need to find out, like, were you spanked as a child? Did you get spankings or did you get whoopings? And do you want to whoop your kids?
So what's first of all, what's a spanking?
A spanking is the one you get in church by sister so-and-so when she just do something quick like that. The whooping is what you get when she tells your mother she had to spank you in church. The whooping is what you get when you get home.
Okay.
So that's the difference.
I didn't know that was black or white, because we got whoopings. It wasn't.
They didn't spank at church.
We got beat down. Like, my mama would hit you with a hymnal. She would hit you with a Mahalia Jackson. You ever got beat with a Mahalia Jackson fan? You know what I'm saying? Or a Lewis Funeral Home fan? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got, you know what I'm saying? Got Mahalia Jackson on one side and they got Dr. King on the other. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got those professional ones with the San Antonio Shoe Factory nursing shoe.
Dang, she said same
The
choice.
switches. The
SAS.
switches.
I remember those. Yo, they had some expensive, comfortable shoes.
And they hurt. And they hurt.
I remember those shoes. I don't know if y'all remember them shoes or not, but I just
Yes.
remember those shoes.
Yes.
So okay, so as we talk about the micro side, how does your family affect you growing up? You know what I'm saying? Because if your dad was a hard worker, if your
Mhm.
mom was very clean and tidy, like me, they people say I'm OCD, whatever. I put stuff back, right? I like being neat. I can't be around environments that's dirty. I just can't.
Mhm.
It just makes my flesh
Mhm.
crawl. And
Mhm.
part of it is because how I grew up, but I think part of it is just me. You know what I'm saying? I try to be a neat person. You know what I'm saying?
Was
Yeah.
your mom real neat?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My
Mhm.
dad also. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I don't know if that directly affected me or I just like neat stuff because when I do things like even we was talking earlier, we was joking, and you were saying the topic is this right here. And I'm like, hope I got I know what the topic because I'm so meticulous on the things that I do, and sometimes it hurts me in relationships because when you're dating a person or you with somebody who's freaking messy, you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
can't stand messy. Oh my God. If I go to your house, excuse the mess, Heifer, you knew I was coming. You know what I'm saying? You knew I was.
Wanted to pledge it up for breeze it down.
Oh my God. And you can tell. You know what I'm saying? Like a little messy. So I mean, that's just me. But I also believe, like you said, it does have something to do with the way that I was raised.
Mhm.
How can people like your peers make you move left or right, even though you know there's going to be consequences at home for
Mhm.
not doing what you're supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Does that am I making sense? Am I
Yeah,
saying it right?
it makes sense. It's just that I don't know because I know people that I've always done what I wanted to do. So if I don't,
For real? You
yeah,
lie.
yeah,
You lie.
kind of. So if I
GG,
don't
you watching it?
smoke,
Miss Linda, you watching this? Go ahead, girl. I'm listening.
if I didn't like I wasn't interested in smoking. I remember when everybody was going to Illusions, my peers were trying cigarettes, and I was like, nah, I ain't interested in that. And drinking, never was really interested in that. So, I mean, I think that if you go left and it goes against what your family, if you've decided to go left, you just deal with the consequences. You know how they say, what do they say? They're gonna do it. They rather say beg than as opposed to saying I'm sorry. So,
Okay.
so I don't know, cause I never went there. I wasn't that wild, you know.
You wasn't
Wasn't
what?
that wild. I
You
wasn't that wild. So
um
I kind of always done what I was told. I've always done what I was told and was where I was supposed to be when I was supposed to be there,
mhm,
you know. So, and being the only child, like if everybody remember when everybody was going to the park,
mhm.
there's no memory of me being at Martin Luther King Park ever. And I still don't do that. Everybody, I think now everybody's going to the well. I'm like, nah, I can't go to the well. It's too many of y'all there.
What's the well?
So I don't, that's a place here in San Antonio
Yeah,
for
I
the
left there.
grown folks.
I left
Huh?
there. Yeah, I left there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
moved away
yeah,
on
we know.
purpose.
We know. We know you left. It's all right.
I
You
still
get
rep my
hungry, you
city.
come back. But so yeah, so I've never been the person to go to all the places that everybody, goes to. But I think if you decide to go left, I have a cousin that she came home from college and we were just sitting there with our mouths open because she came in, it's like 2:30 in the morning, brought her boyfriend in the house, and her daddy slapped everybody. Everybody got slapped that night. And we sitting there like, girl, you did that. So I would never have done that because I knew that when I came home from college, I was in my parents' house and I couldn't do whatever I wanted to do like I was in college. So I just think it just depends. That person just makes that decision.
Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. And I have a question that we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna just think about over the break, right? You're more than welcome to call in 972-510-5446. The question that I have is when you know certain things, right?
Mhm.
And you impacted by your family and all your friends and everything else, and you know that my environment is shaping me, but I don't like the way that it's shaping me. The question is, can you break free
From your environment.
from your environment? Now, I held that for a while. You do know I have preaching in me, right? You know how we hold it, and then we say, "Oh, the Lord is my shepherd." Oh, he made me, Lord.
I thought you didn't like that.
Girl, don't y'all go anywhere. Keep it locked in Racer Show. They must have fell and bumped their head.
Mind of the mess? Yeah! Each one reach one, man. When you reach one, you teach one. You feel me? Always remember, man. No matter what you're going through in your life, man, you know, going through it for a reason. Believe that. Yeah! I used to dream about a phantom. Big boat with a big house. They ain't worried about them haters that's running their big mouth saying this about me, saying that about me. If I was still in them streets, it won't be jack about me. But when you living for God, the enemy gonna test you. But if you fight to the end, Lord will surely bless you. I'm ready for war. And they ain't talking about carnally. Top 5 dead or alive, that's not arguably. Balls. The sneak this and ain't bother me. I've been forgave, but there's no need for apologies. I spit the truth, and the truth make it hard to breathe. I'm on my knees, hollering, Father, please. Big guns rip through your artery. Born thugging in school, I studied trigonometry. Walk with the demons, now I'm flying with the angels. The haters real, I can feel it from all angles. Yeah! But the love's even realer. I just want to know how God can have love for us sinners when we hate each other daily, fighting and pulling triggers. Then got the nerve to say that we brothers and we sisters. I'm too old for this. Frustrated and sick and tired of it. Dr. King and Malcolm X died for by the hands of the government. So when they see us killing each other, you know they loving that. A lot of brothers in prison thinking their days over, would have beat their charge but couldn't afford to pay a lawyer. The system is so corrupted, some cops could not be trusted. They'll murder you in public, but me, see, I ain't bugging. That's something that we all know. My Lord and Savior was murdered in public also. Right in front of his own mama. I told my old homies to deal with their own drama. I got a son to raise. Got time for no bull crap, but to protect his life, I quickly pull straps and get back in them streets and attack with the heat. I went down, but now I'm back on my feet. Learned to deal with the consequences. I just had to pay $1,700 for my license, took it on suspended. Sometimes it feels like I'm out of hope. Ex-wife treated me bad because I was broke. It don't matter because the Lord gave me someone better. Somebody that love me for me, that's why I treat it special. Love that man for who he is, girl. And not for what he can do for you. Vice versa, break the wrong heart, they might hurt you. All my fingers got prints, so I write in cursive. And I'm gonna find what I'm in search of. Let us bow our head, cause it's time to worship. Bars, mind elevation, yeah! Lord, I come to you, Father God. In the name of your son, Lord, I just ask, Father God, that you watch over that person right now, Father God. That person that got their hands on the gun and their finger on the trigger, ready to just pull it and end it all, Father God. Let them know whatever crooked can be made straight again. Real life. Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, protect me. Them politicians, they labeling me a problem. Pressures in my heart. Pain, I feel a lot of. See them making my cross, preparing me for the slaughter of my life. They gotta take it. I ain't giving them nada. Compared to that fire in hell, my bars harder. Yeah. Young boys rhyme with pistols. This world is ran all by signs and symbols. Council of Foreign Relations, Illuminati, trying to get me to sell my soul for a new Ferrari. I learned a lot from my time in prison. Television, tell lies and business. I'ma move like the hands on the clock till my time is finished. Head high, cause the sky's the limit. And I'ma do it with no hesitation. My occupation is solely focused on reparations. No wings, but I move with the spirals. Teeth all gold like the tombs of the pharaoh. Ancient Egypt, when I say credit, they thinking Visa. When I say knowledge is food, they be thinking pizza. When I say brother, you cool, he thinking evil. When I say sister, you a queen, she be thinking diva. It's up to me to put it in their head and steal wisdom and knowledge before they end up dead. Bars. Yeah.
Boy, nice. Say, man, shout out to Keith Wallace. Keith Wallace. Yeah, if y'all get a chance, follow him on Facebook. Instagram, and also follow this brother on YouTube. He is, to me, one of the coldest rappers out there. He's not even signed yet. That's just crazy. This dude is so dope. He's not even signed yet. And if you follow his story, one of the reasons he's not signed is because, you know, people try to change him. This is what he says. So this is a dope dude. So before we left, we was talking about breaking free from family traditions, family way of thinking, family control from what you was brought up in. Because here's the thing, and this is something that everybody might not agree with, but I just personally believe this. I believe that a lot of adults are still dealing with childhood issues. Like, I personally believe, and I read this book that confirmed it, that was pretty dope, that men are basically 5-year-old boys that shave. That was pretty dope. I'm just gonna say that just because I thought it was dope.
I could see that.
And the what the guy was saying was, there are some things in us that's always gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we shave now. We got all these different responsibilities, but we don't like to share. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have 5 side chicks, but if you find out your girl cheating, it's over. Oh my God, I ain't messing with you no more. Because we don't like to share our toys. You know what I'm saying? And some of the things that we've been taught in our life from a little kid, like, you know, when we first, like me, I'm gonna say me, I was taught how to pray a certain way as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was Jehovah's Witnesses, then my mama got a job, then we became Baptists. You know what I'm saying? You'll catch that in the car because, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate Christmas. Anyway, boom. I thought it was hilarious, right? But it's actually true. You know what I'm saying? It's actually true. And we used to actually go and knock on doors. I remember we used to go to New Light Village. I never forget it. I was in New Light Village, and I don't know where we was at, what apartment it was, but I remember I knocked on the door. They sent me up there. They sent me up there with this lady. And that lady said, hold on one second. And that heifer came back with some mop water. And as we was going down the steps, she threw the mop water on us. And I remember it was pine on pine. I remember that. It smelled good.
Oh my God.
And we was downstairs. Oh, praise God, praise God.
Did you say it smelled good?
Yeah, it smelled good. Pine on pine smelled good. It smelled good. And it was like, oh, you know, and we was doing it for the Lord, right? And so some of us, our whole life has been geared a certain way. When I prayed a certain way. When I said, you know, I always say in Jesus' name. Why? Because God ain't go here if you don't say in Jesus' name. This is what I was taught. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things that was engraved in me as a child followed me into adulthood. So when I would go on a date and I would ask a woman, hey, you pray over the food. And I'm listening to her. She's a sinner. I want to know if she's saved or not. Have you been washed in the blood of the Lamb? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not being funny, but this is how I was raised. You know, you can't date a person and be unequally yoked. You know what I'm saying? Because if she don't know Jesus as her Lord and Savior, you can't date her. And your pastor's not going to marry y'all because y'all are unequally yoked and she's going to hell. You know, it's just crazy. So this is how I was raised. And so as you grow up and you grow older, it's a lot of things I had to unlearn. So I guess my question is, can a person break free? And what are the consequences of not thinking like the people who raised you?
I think that they can break free. I think that people make a conscious decision to make a change. Like, you know, we have parents that were just, my father used to say he got whooped if the cows didn't chew right. He said, if they didn't chew right, I got in trouble. So he made a conscious decision that that's not how he wasn't going to be somebody that spanked his kids. And, you know, it's just, I think you just decide what you're going to do. You know, my mother, you know, she's from Alabama and all of that. And she made a conscious decision. Yeah, I don't want to spank my kids. I don't want my daughter to be Baptist just because I'm Baptist. Right. So I had to go to Jehovah Witness Kingdom Hall. I was sent to Kingdom Hall. I went to Catholic school. I can't think of a religion. I went to synagogue. I went to everything. Man, I went to everything. So I could choose the religion that was speaking to me. So I was like, oh, okay.
I like that.
And so I was like, well, I ain't doing all that, and then I gave birth to a child that was Buddhist. He got here and was like, y'all don't respect nothing. Y'all don't respect the animals and the crickets, and God made the cricket before he made y'all. And I was like, Lord, where is he from? And then, my other child had questions. Why aren't we all Jews? So I was like, okay, my mother should have raised them and sent them to all them churches like she did me. But I was like, okay, so I do have to let them go to different places and see which religion speaks to them.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because, for those who don't know, me and Hope been knowing each other for 20 plus years, right? Long time. Yeah.
Long time.
Savannah was a little baby. And I guess the question I would ask you and whoever is, watching or whatever, what made you step out of the norm and say, I'm going to allow my kids to explore? Because let's be, and I'm not saying this is you, or I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but there are some people who will not allow their kids to even think outside of their environment, because they feel like, I have all the answers. This is how it is. And if you think any way else, you're wrong. And there's even times people have put their kids out.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to be, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I believe, I guess the way I was raised, it was my environment. I just believe that children come through you. If your children, if you wanted them to be a certain thing, then everybody would order a white child. They would be like, don't send me a Native American or African American. I want a child that's perfect. As a matter of fact, send me a white male, so he don't have no problems at all. So I'm like, if you can't order that, if you can't order that, then you have to realize they come through you. They have their own decisions. And I explained that to my own kids. I was like, you see how this one, like, you love mustard and he does not love mustard? That was a decision he made before he even got here. Like, whatever happens, I'm not eating that yellow stuff, And I think that that's what the difference is. You have to let your kids be who they are. So I get accused. Well, I used to get accused of, you don't treat us the same. I'm like, y'all are not the same. None of y'all are the same people. Each one of you is your own individual. The only thing you guys have in common is your address and who your mother is. That's the only thing y'all got in common. Everything else, and what church you go to. I'm like, I can't even say all of y'all been to the same schools, because you're not the same person. Each one of you has their own path. And so therefore, I make sure that you go on the path that works for you. So I just think that everybody, like, some people have to realize that.
Well, and even with, and I tease you a lot about your hair. I don't recall a perm wearing Hope. I don't recall lashes wearing Hope. I don't recall long, just none of that.
Straight hair Hope.
Yeah, and I'm not,
you don't know weave Hope.
I don't, and
okay,
I'm not dogging anybody, but
yeah,
it takes courage to be different. Would you agree to that?
Yes. Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
To be different. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because I didn't know anybody that was nursing. And that's the first thing I said, oh, I nurse, right?
Yeah, I remember that. You nursed.
Yeah, and I was 15.
Like they'd be 15.
Yeah,
Let the titty go. Let the titty go. Let the titty go.
Whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. Breast.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the lesson a few weeks ago.
Yes.
About what y'all didn't like. But no, and the reason I guess I say that is because I've talked to people and they say, well, Ray, how do you do that? How do you do this right here? Because, I had to break free from my environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that your environment is bad. And I think people think that you are saying that the environment's bad because you want to go a different route. It just means it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I am a clean person, and I don't know how to be dirty. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's be times, and I kid you not, it's sometimes irritating because I cook and I eat real good, and I lay across that bed, and I be like, God dang, I gotta wash these dishes. Ain't nobody live in this house. It's just me. You know what I'm saying? But I would get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go in there and wash them dishes, or at least stack them in the dishwasher or something, wipe down that cabinet. That's
Yep.
just me.
Yeah.
And I don't ever recall in my childhood ever having roaches. I don't recall ever, lights being cut off. I don't, and it was just my mama. You know what I'm saying? I salute you, Candy. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember, dishes in the sink before we went to sleep. She didn't play that. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't.
Yeah.
So I think it does shape you. And I think the things that we like, we keep.
Yeah.
And the things that we dislike, we
Take
kind of
out.
divorce ourselves from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now when it comes to the religious aspect, and this is something that I talk about a lot because I think that religion, not spirituality, I think religion shapes us a lot. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was pastoring Agape, and it was a lady named Sister Clark, a beautiful lady who's already transitioned. She told me, she said, I ain't never read my Bible as much as when I came to this church. I said, what do you mean? She said, she was apostolic, and nothing against the apostolic church, but she said they were more focused on running around the church. They was more focused on feeling the spirit and getting happy, which is okay. Okay. But she said, reading, like she said, she never actually read the 10 Commandments. She read what was on that board. She said, but to find it in her Bible, she's like, dang, this is crazy. I never really got into this. And this woman is like 72 years old. You know what I mean? So I think that sometimes when we break free from what we know, it's scary.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I also think it's necessary for change to take place. Yeah.
And like you said, you have your own path. So this might not, Jehovah's Witness might not be your path, It's just you have your own path. Everybody takes what, like you said, they take what they like.
Yeah.
And, and the rest of it, because I can't fault my kids for being hard workers when I'm like, oh, well, you see me doing it. I saw my mother doing it. I saw my grandmother doing it, my father doing it, my grandfather. So I'm like, yeah, it's no matter what, it's in you. So you take what you like and, the parts you don't like, take it off the burger.
Here's what's funny. You can grow up in an environment and be totally different in an environment in a negative way.
Yes.
Because the myth is this right here. Here's the myth. The myth is if they have a mama and a daddy in the home, you're going to grow up and you're going to be better. No. There's just as many people in prison on them poles selling dope, you know what I'm saying, who had a mama and a daddy in the house. And I'm talking about a good mama and a daddy. Because just because you got mama and daddy in the house don't mean it was good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes daddy just watch TV and beat mama all night. Come on, man. We being real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or didn't say anything. There's families where the mama raised the daughter and the father raised the son.
Wow.
Yeah, I know families like that. So I would get ridiculed because my father would step in and would tell me, you need to do this, this, that, and the other. And then my mother would get home and she's like, well, did you do this, this, that, and the other? And I'm like, I'm the only person here. Who else are the two of them going to tell, what to do? And I would get told, she's like, well, why does your father, tell you stuff? And I was like, he's my father. And she's like, oh, I don't get that. My father has absolutely no say over anything that I do or don't do.
Wait, say the father don't have any say?
He didn't have any say. Like if whatever she did, everything went through her mom, and whatever her brother did, everything went through her dad.
Wow. And
I was like, so how does that work? And so I was like, okay, everybody's environment's different.
Yeah.
And and I tried it. So I told my father something and said, don't tell my mama. And he said, oh, okay. And I told my mother something. I said, whatever you do, don't tell my daddy. So and she was like, okay.
You played it.
And so I went and stood in the hallway, and as soon as they got ready to go to bed, she said, "Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you?" He was like, "What?" She's like, "Hope said that." He told me, "What?" She told me this and that, and I bust in the door and I said, "I told both of you not to say nothing to each other." And I said, "So why do y'all talk to each other?" Because I thought they wouldn't talk to each other because her parents didn't talk to each other.
So I'm curious of something. And you know, you don't have to answer this, but my mind is going right now. Are
Yes,
you
I'm
telling me
perfect.
that you were spoiled?
I don't understand what that word means. Every day is Christmas for Hope.
Okay.
Every day.
Okay. So man, I hope y'all are watching. I hope y'all listening to this, because if you find a woman who had a lifestyle like that, you're not going to control anything. She's going to punk you all the time because she's so used to having her way, because the environment is, see, okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's like a tree, right? So say for instance, when you first get a tree and you plant the tree in the yard,
Mhm.
and the environment is going to shape the tree going this way or that way.
Mhm.
And normally what you do, you put a foundation or you put some things around a support system around the tree. So therefore the tree will not move, but it will go straight, right?
Mhm.
So unfortunately, a lot of our environments are like this, or it's
Yeah.
like that, because anytime the wind blows, we're so used to being moved by what's around us. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to bring that up, and I appreciate you. That was a great segue. I promise you, it's a great segue. No, it was because, you know, like I said, you know, yeah, I think it's a great segue, because here's the thing about it. Oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes we are so shaped by our environment that we actually bring that into our relationships. And
Mhm.
if you were in an environment where you was able to control, to a certain extent, mama and daddy, you definitely can punk your husband or your wife. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, but I don't think that I controlled them.
I ain't say you, I'm saying in general.
No, I'm
I mean,
saying in
Get
general.
out your feelings. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, well then don't be talking about the only child. So okay, so I think that if you do that, but I think that you surround yourself with like-minded people. My father told me when I went to public school, he says, "You're gonna walk in
You
there."
said that like it was special. Most of us went to public school.
Okay, well, when I went to
Oh, wait, wait.
public
So you
school,
went to a private school too? Oh,
when I went to public school,
it's just bougie.
he said, he said, when you walk in there, he said, "I don't want you coming back talking about, oh, this kid does this kid does this kid does this." He said, "You gonna go to the group that speaks to you." He said, "So if they smoking, you smoking. If they doing this, you doing this." And I think that I surrounded myself, and I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, but like most of my close friends are the only child or the baby of the family. So if I call, like my best friend, if I call him and I say, well, like yesterday, I put on Facebook, I said, "Hey, best friend, I want them markers, but you know, I won't pay for them." He was like, "Okay, huh?" And I was like, "Thank you." Like, I want the markers and I don't want to pay for them. I don't feel like it. And he's like, "Okay, Hope." So I think that because he is the baby of the family. So you surround yourself.
He ain't supposed to pay. You're supposed to pay.
No, I want him to do it.
Okay. No, okay, hold on.
I want him to do it. I don't want to spend it.
Wait, hold on.
Uh-uh.
You said because he's the baby of the family, he
He's the
has to
baby of
pay.
the family, and
But
I'm the
most
only
babies don't do
child.
nothing.
I know, but since he's the baby of the family and he's used to getting whatever he wants, he does the same thing. They give whatever. So if you ask them for something and they're the baby and you're the only, they give.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that you have to your environment, instead of you, I think that people unintentionally, like my closest friends are either the baby of the family or they're the only child too. So when we say we want something, then usually we get it. That other one gets it. Whoever asks for it, they get it.
So is that the baby of the family, or is that the only spoiled child of the family?
That's both.
Okay.
And they do really well. Like most of my friends that are with someone, they're either with the only child and they're the baby, or they're the only child and they're with the middle, and it works out. So I think that when you go through your environment, you incidentally you end up gravitating towards people that will enhance what you've already grown up with. And
Okay.
especially if it's a good thing, you know? So
Okay.
not
Okay.
until I went to college did I get hard-headed people that were like, we're not from San Antonio. We're not going to do that the way you want. And I was like, what?
So in other words, you're saying that those people reinforce what you wanted.
Yeah, what you're used to, they reinforce your environment. So you ask for things, or you're a certain way, and you get the people that are in your village, they're the same kind of people, then it just works out.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a quick break. Okay. Thank you for that. That was deep. That was deep. Let's take a quick break. Because I'm curious
You
on
want
this
to
right here
rebuttal?
now. Huh?
I said,
Yep.
you want to rebuttal?
No. Because here's the thing about it is, I was raised in a family where on my daddy's side, it was just me and my brother. So I was the oldest. So certain responsibilities I had as being the oldest. On my mama's side of the family, I was the baby for 12 years. And then my little brother came along and was nasty because I found out my mom was having sex. And I like, ugh, you nasty. You goosing. And then I became the middle child. So I went from being spoiled all the time, so I can kind of relate to some of the things you're saying, to being the middle child. And they ain't gonna believe me. I say it all the time. I was ostracized. I was like forgotten. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she was my sister was. Yeah.
I'm the middle grandchild. So they never think about me. They do my oldest cousin and they do my younger cousin. And that way I just slide in the background. And then, but I'm the oldest. Like amongst my peers, I was the oldest. So they would call me to go with them somewhere or to do something. Anything they would have to do, their parents would leave a note and be like, and make sure Hope goes with you. So I was the oldest outside of my home. But once I walked in the house, I was back to being,
Okay. So that's why I said I'm not disagreeing with you. It's no rebuttal. I'm just listening because there are people that are watching or maybe watch later on YouTube or whatever, and they can relate to what you're saying. There's some things you say, I get it. Some things I'm like, I ain't never heard this before, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, because here's the thing about it. If you know everything, then you have nothing else to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think I'm the dumbest, smartest person that I know. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things I know, but a lot of things I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of deep, right? You like that? Okay, cool.
Like
don't try to go
that.
anywhere, but this is the thing that I want to talk about next. How does mass media, shape our thinking? Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked to Race Real Show. They must have fell and bumped their head.
My bounce back game is so immaculate. You can say the lies, I'm not having it. Call me out my name, cause the game didn't change. I'm a savage. If that's what you want, you can have it. Stunning on your haters is a habit. You see them all vegan about my cabbage. Niggas in their feelings cause I'm treating him all average. Grateful to myself, no one can do it better. Get up out your feeling to the one that let her. I'm on top while you're looking at the bottom. Now I'm on top, looking different from the bottom. Listen and pay attention, different positions. Hands in the air, cause they hate when you are winning. Smiles turn to frown every time I come around. They only celebrated me when I was down. My bounce back game is so immaculate. You can say the lies, I'm not having it. Call me out my name, cause the haters is ahead. You see them all speaking about my cat. Niggas in their feeling cause I'm treating him all every. Now what you want me to do? Be in competition with the blue? Translation, I'm sick over you. A shooting star, I'm a shooting star. We two different bars, you're living bars. Lockdown is where you wanna be. Lockdown is where you rather be. I do. You wanted me to wait till time's up. You missed out, shorting out time's up. My bounce back game is so immaculate. If you say the lies, I'm not having it. Call me out my name, cause the game didn't change. I'm a sad. If that's what you want, you can have. Gotta know your haters is ahead. You see them all speaking about my cat. Niggas in they feeling cause I'm treating him all every.
Hey, you running out of seconds, baby, caught me in time. These hoes transforming, stop them this crime. Georgia, Illinois, fuck them, they not for us. See them in the public, don't wave, they don't know us. Sucker. Nigga, who your competition? You made me the opposition, now you out of position. Listen, you see the diamonds, the bitches, they stay glisten. I'm a walking fucking penny. You see the diamonds dripping, hey.
My bounce back game is so immaculate. If you say the lies, I'm not having it. Call me out my name, cause the game didn't change. I'm sad. If that's what you want, you can have it. Gotta know your haters is ahead. You see them all speaking about my cat. Niggas in they feeling cause I'm treating him all every.
I like that. I like that. Bounce back game. Lala Maria featuring Legacy City, aka Cedric Bellamy. I'm always shouting them out because if you hear the theme song, the Race Rail Show, that is Lala singing, and the Love Doctor. She's featured on a couple of songs, and she kind of very patient with me. So I'm just very big on giving back to people who show love to me and everything. Her album is really doing really good. Y'all make sure y'all go to Street Legion, StreetLigion, Street Legion is like one word because it's like street and religion kind of mixed together. But they just doing really good things. But look, so here's something I want to deal with because this is something I'm very passionate about. This particular section of the show, and I kind of wanted to save it because I'm trying to paint a picture, right? One of the things is we can be shaped and molded in our homes. We can be shaped and molded by our peers and what they do. Like you said earlier, your dad said, whatever's going to draw you. If they're smoking, you're going to be smoking. You know what I'm saying? And also religion and stuff like that. But I think, and of course, my definition of environments, things you see, things you hear, right? So I want us to talk about mass media for a minute. Not just, when I say mass media, it includes social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these different things, but also the news, the music, what we read. I think it affects us. I think, and I wanted to kind of say that towards the end of the show because when we see this election, when we see that this guy, like I didn't like Bush, right? I thought he was just really dumb. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a problem with Bush daddy. I didn't agree with a lot of things he said, but I was just starting to go into politics and understand what it meant. I thought Clinton was cool. I didn't know Clinton was locking us up, you know what I'm saying, by the thousands. But something about this guy, he feeds off of hate. He feeds off of fear. And I think he understands that the environment in which some people have lived, they're in this somewhat of a social bubble where they're scared to interact with women who have hair like you. They're scared to interact with people who have skin like us because this is what they've been told their whole life. And if you watch the media, when we march, we're rioters. Even when ain't no buildings being burnt and nothing, we're rioters, we're looters. But when they do it, they're patriots.
Well, you know, when Katrina, when they were victims of the flood, they were refugees.
In their own country.
In their own country. Yeah.
So I think mass media, and the word media is actually medium. It means they're supposed to be in the middle, just telling the story as it is.
As is.
It's not right wing, left wing. It's just in the middle, telling the truth.
What you see. Yep.
And unfortunately, people at the top have learned how to use this fear to keep us fighting all the time, keep us at war all the time, and truth of the matter is keep us hating one another. Am I saying that right?
No, yeah, you're saying it absolutely right. They do. They figure out a way. They were attacking the Muslims, gave us a little break, and that's what everybody was saying. Well, they gave us a break. I'm like, you do know Muslims are black too. I was like, so doesn't matter. And then when they started, you know, locking up the kids and everything and putting them in cages and everything, you know, we were sitting here saying, hey, we support you and everything. And the Mexican brothers and sisters, they were just like, well, you know, that's not my kid. You know, it hadn't came on their street, because I don't think that they know how to, they haven't been in a situation, I should say, where they've had to fight and you know, do all those things and go and step out for somebody else that looks like them. So I think that they have a lot of influence, and I do think that he brings up everything that they had that was a fear for them. You know, being from San Antonio, you know, we're from a minority city, but we're the, you know, the second minority, because, you know, it's always going to be, you know, Karen first and then them. And I had a girl tell me, well, growing up, and she's Mexican American, she was like, well, growing up, I was always told that Black people were dirty. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. I said, oh. I said, they call y'all wetbacks and say that y'all swam across the Rio Grande. We came in a ship 500 years ago, and we were the maids, and y'all came up with, we were dirty? And she's like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. I said, I'm just asking. I said, because I was never told that you guys were dirty. I was never told anything like that. And I said, so I wonder what is being said that your family has told you that about Blacks, because Black people do not walk around. We don't walk around teaching our little kids, you know, hate this person, hate that one, don't do this, don't do. We just, as a people, we don't walk around doing that. And it seems like everybody else is walking around doing that. And then Trump, he jumped on that bandwagon where no matter how poor you are, you're not Black. So once they jump back on that bandwagon from the 40s and 50s, then we're nothing. So then we can go right back to killing them and doing whatever we want to them.
Now, and it's interesting that you say that, because when I talk about mass media, one of the things that I think that also encompasses is history. Because a lot of us, and of course that's being the macro, but we don't understand history. And we don't like talking about our history. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to turn some people off, but that's okay. When we study our history of Black people, of people in general, right? Because people don't understand Black and white, that's something that really came up in the 1700s. I'm sorry, 1800s. Because at first we were just people. But when they found out that, you know, to call a person Caucasian, which at one time was something that they did not want to be called, because it referred to the Caucasus Mountains, and they didn't want to talk about them coming from caves at all. But when we talk about Black people, or just people in general, we've always had wars. We've always had tribal situations where this group didn't like that group. That's part of the nature of human beings. But we
Mhm.
never slaughtered people. We
Mm-mm.
never tried to get people down for generations and generations
Mhm.
until this experiment called America.
Mhm.
I had to check a white guy one time. He said, everybody was slaves. Okay, no, not like this.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Not for 400 years. They was indentured
Mhm.
servants. They was able to be free
Mhm.
after a while. And
Mhm.
so when we know the history, when we talk
Mhm.
about the Moors, when we talk about the people who, um, helped people come out the Dark Ages, because people
Mhm.
forget, Europeans was in Dark Ages, and it was
Mhm.
the Moors that freed them. One guy
Mhm.
said they enslaved them. No. They conquered them. They didn't enslave them.
Mhm.
It's a huge
Mhm.
difference. You know,
Mhm.
why are we as people, in your opinion, and I'm asking, so afraid to learn of our history? Because really, when we learn of our history, it actually reshapes our mental environment. If
Mhm.
that's a word I just made up, it sounded pretty good though.
It did.
It sounded pretty good, right? It reshapes our mental environment where we want to expand. We want to see,
Yeah.
so we had pharaohs, we had popes that was black. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
had pharaohs that were still called pharaohs, but they was women.
Or Mary, the statues here of Mary and baby Jesus. You go somewhere else, Mary black. Baby Jesus is black and got afros. And you like, who is that? That's not the Mary and the Jesus, that I knew. And so it's just different. I think that you do have to learn your history. And I think the reason why people are uncomfortable, that we're uncomfortable, is because whenever we've been in an environment where they're teaching our history, they're always teaching it like they start off with Sambo. They starting off with Sambo, and and his lips are flipped back and his eyes are big, and and he don't know how to walk straight and all that. And so that's embarrassing. And so we don't want to talk about that, especially in a classroom full of kids. And being here from San Antonio, my mother had to go to the school a couple of times and was like, oh, hold on, we're not doing this, because my classroom was mostly Black and Hispanic kids. And then every February, it's an issue. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be that Black. So, anything I didn't like, I just get up, walk out, and go home. And so I think that that's what it is. I've been in college.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I did. I just walk out and go home. And but I was in college, and I got to my sociology class, and I just kind of like eased in there, and the tape had already started. And I missed the beginning where we said we were going to be learning this. And the film came on, and it said 1 little, 2 little, 3 little niggas, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little niggas. I said, what is this?
1 second, Richard.
So I went ahead and unplugged
Okay.
the movie. And the professor was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm checking the tape. And when they turned the lights on, I had the cord in my hand.
Hold
So
on
I
one
just
second.
think it's the way that they teach.
Hold on 1 second. Richard, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see if I can connect you to the. I'm listening to you, Hope. Okay, Richard, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. And I wasn't trying to cut Hope off, so I do apologize, Richard. What's your thoughts on this, brother?
Well, for me, growing up, the first time I learned about my history was through slavery. And it was so quickly blown over in school that it wasn't until I saw the movie Roots to find out where I actually came from. Which my first mindset is like, okay, my heritage, my lineage is slavery. I'm an indentured servant. To say later on down the line I was indentured. But I didn't have a strong perception of myself growing up. It wasn't until I saw the movie Shaka Zulu and I realized, like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
My lineage didn't start out on the cotton field. My lineage just started out as kings in Africa.
Yeah.
To this point now, I call my son Young King. And they're like, well, Dad, I'm not a king. Oh, yes, you are. Because you're the son of a king. I call myself and carry myself as a king, which means that as my son, you're my young king. And then we go on, we watch movies like Shaka Zulu. We watch movies where black men are empowered instead of seeing what we call the Uncle Toms, the ones that are always bowing down the master, the ones who are always slew-footing and dancing to entertain master. Now, after seeing a black man and a powerful mindset, it allows people to say, like, okay, well, maybe not all black people are lazy or shiftless or sneaky or thieves, but there are black men who come from royalty, who carry themselves like gentlemen, who carry themselves like kings. And then lo and behold, we have Obama come up here and totally ruin the entire mindset that racists have made that black people are lazy, shiftless, and don't stand and can't do anything.
Preach, boy.
Obama comes up and says, well, I'm well-spoken. I'm educated. Like you said in your video earlier today, Obama went to those white colleges and showed them that I'm as smart, if not smarter, than the smartest person you have in your college. And I'm going to do even one better. I'm going to come from the lowest places in Chicago to to sit on the highest office in this United States and on this planet, in the United States of America, and show you that I can start from the bottom and rise to the top. I can come from ashy to classy. And even though he's not president, he's still shining. Whenever you see former President Obama, he's always carrying himself like he's still a president. He's always carried himself where he's respected, no matter where he goes or what he does. He can be walking around the basketball court, shoot hoops, draining three-pointers, make Facebook, and still be as cool than anybody else out there on the block. And they hate us for it. They hate us for it.
And they hate that they call us lazy, but we built this country.
Yes. And the fear that they have that we're going to realize who we are, where we come from, and begin to outshine them, they're scared. They're scared because let's call it like it is. There are black people and there are white people, both on welfare. There are some black people who don't plan on doing anything but stand on welfare. But there are also white people who are doing worse than black people on welfare and have no intentions of ever coming off. So
it's more white people on welfare than blacks. It's more white people on welfare than blacks.
So Richard, I got a question for you, right?
Go ahead.
And I know how, because we watched Shaka Zulu in my house, right? And we also watched Roots.
Yes,
and I remember I was a little kid when Roots came out. I never forget being on the bus. I was going to Forbes Elementary. My sister was at what's that called? Inez Foster, I think. Anyway, and I never forget. My sister now said they would get on the back of the bus and they would like, kill the white people. And they start stomping. Kill. And say white people just start getting off the bus because we didn't know. We didn't know. That was the first time we saw us. You know what I'm saying? And we saw how we was being mistreated. And I say this a lot because the images that we have placed in our head. Look, listen. Please understand this. And I'm not dogging anybody. Please, anybody, do not think I am being just anti-church. But I'm so pissed off at all the black churches who had a white Jesus on their wall. And when they finally got to open their Bible and read and saw that he had hair like wool, they never put a picture of a black Jesus up. Them niggas said it don't matter as long as his blood is red. But when it was a white boy, it was up there next to Dr. King and JFK. But as soon as we found out, come on now. But as soon as it don't matter. Nobody knows what he looked like anyway. But that image that we placed in our head, even sometimes on Facebook, I see little memes and stuff. Jesus is walking with you. Always a white person. You know what I'm saying? It's never a curly-haired guy. And why? Is because if white people identify Jesus as a black man, there would be less Christians today.
It ruins their psyche because they can't imagine. They don't. It's like they don't see us as. They don't see some of us as equals.
Okay.
Just like the current president doesn't see us as an equal. But his biggest fear is to have to sit down with somebody. That's the reason why he hated Obama so much, because he knows he has nowhere near the education, not let alone the political education that Obama has.
Yes.
That's the reason why he doesn't want to have a conversation with him. Because I always know if I have a question, I refer to you. I call Ray. I call you all the time.
Yeah.
If I have a question or something I don't understand, because I have no problem with saying I don't know. This individual will not do that. He'll make up a lie. Have you injecting bleach in your skin.
Yeah.
Instead of saying like, I don't know, educate
I have
me.
no clue. Yeah.
Instruct me. He has no clue. And his biggest fear is that he has to turn to Obama and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? He won't do that. A lot of people won't do that. That's where the humility comes in. We as African-American men, we can be humble. We can't be as humble to each other with something that we need to work on as a race, but we can be humble to say, I don't know, I need help. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
But Richard, here's
yes, sir.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And me and Hope, we've talked about this off camera and everything else. To say I don't know as a man, like okay, so I'm going into the t-shirt thing, right? So all week I've been picking her brain. I'm like, well, Hope, how you do this right here? Say, Ray, don't do this. And so she's like, go to Michael's and check this out. Look at this right here. Go to this right here. Do this right here. So I'm asking questions because I don't know. And I think I became more powerful by me knowing somebody who knows more than I do. Because if you are the smartest person in the room, you need to get out that room. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to pick her brain. She's like, Ray, you can do this right here. Make sure you do it right here. And then when you go over there, make sure, see what comes with it. And I'm asking these questions. I'm taking notes. She don't even understand. She think I'm not listening to her, but I'm taking notes. So therefore, when I go in there, I can ask questions. The thing I've learned about people is that our environments have taught us to not ask questions. Our environments have taught us. See, here's the thing that get me about men in general, right? We are so westernized that we don't even want to ask our woman for help, which is stupid because you got somebody who might have an expertise on something that you need. So what you do, you go outside your home because this is what white folks have taught us. See, here's the thing about it. And I'm not trying to be funny, but this is just real talk. We began to treat our women like white men were treating their women. Because people forget for 300 years there was voting and white women couldn't vote. So they didn't even think their women had some smarts. Black men, we always came home and baby girl, hey, I'm going through something. It was a black woman that stopped us from overthrowing them doggone plantations. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. But it
was a black man that knew that it hurt to have a baby. It was a black man that knew that, not the white man. He'd go downstairs or outside.
You know what? You're sure right. You know what I'm saying?
But the brother would stay right there.
But I think we have to start unlearning some stuff. And unfortunately, when we unlearn some stuff, it hurts because we're embarrassed. We're embarrassed because that deacon that we love, or that pastor that we love, or our grandfather that we love, who really didn't have a lot of formal education. Now, don't get me wrong. He knew how to take care of his family. He knew how to work. He can take the engine apart. He can get behind that mule. But it was some things that he could not do. So we think that we're dishonoring them by unlearning some of the things that they taught us. Does that make sense? Am I saying this right? Go ahead, sir.
Yes. What I always learned in my 22 years in the military, I told my soldiers, like, hey, I'm the dumbest, smartest person in this room. If there's another better way of doing something, tell me and show me. We may decide to do it your way. Because my way is either slow, takes too long, inefficient, and yours is the best way. I tell my sons, if I tell you to do something and you think of a better way to do it, say, hey, Dad, look, can I show this to you first? Yeah. And if that's the better way of doing it, okay, son, well, you're right. That is the better way. I have no problem with being humble unto anybody as long as when you make me humble down, that you don't humiliate me while you're humbling me at the same time. Wow. And I think that's the problem that we as men have. We think that when we humble ourselves, it opens the door to being humiliated. And that's something that has to do with the individual man, not the entire race. The individual man has that problem.
Yeah. Well, Rich, I would say this right here though. Sometimes as a man, and Hope about to roll our eyes, sometimes as a man, we can't go to our woman because she has not been taught that we got questions too. Like Hope was talking earlier about her changing a tire, right? Some men don't know how to change tires. You know what I'm saying? Some men don't have a clue about changing a tire. You know what I'm saying? Because who was there to teach them? Or mama may have had AAA, you know what I'm saying, or towing with her insurance. So I think, in my opinion, we all need each other. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're rich or poor, I think we're made better once we start realizing we all need each other. And this asshole, and I gotta say, this asshole, I like saying it like that. This asshole that's in the office, he have people around him that only believe what he believes. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't even listen to the scientists. These dudes been doing science. These Dr. Fauci is them nerd kids that in school we would go to them and, man, how you dissect this frog? And he loved it. You know what I'm saying? And we needed him. You know what I'm saying? Some people are only gonna be waitresses. That's okay. Because guess what? We need waitresses. You know, but when you think you know everything, I just think that you become weaker as a person. That's just me.
And when you try to act like you know everything, only thing that comes out your mouth is utter stupidity. And we've seen that.
Yes.
We've seen
that. Amen.
So I got a question for you, Richard, and I know you're very busy, planning all the things you got going on. I'm not going to put your business out there, but I know you got a lot of stuff going on. Congratulations. You know, I'm not going to put it out there, but you already know. You already know. So here's a question to you and to Hope, if you don't mind. How does our environment control our thoughts?
Well, I was listening to when you were talking about it, and the only thing I can think of two things. You have mass media and you have social media. And one caveat off the other one. Social media can take an idea and send it completely across the world. That's mass media. Social media can dictate how that message is sent out across the world. Case in point, racism. You can take somebody who hadn't met a black person their entire life. Just like Hope said, somebody told this person that black people were dirty. And that's all they know, and that's all they're going to see every time they log onto the internet, they're going to see black people doing bad things. They're going to see black people, Hurricane Katrina. That's all they know until they meet the first black person that tells them, like, hey, sir, ma'am, you need to rearrange your mindset. I need to educate you. Case in point, when I was stationed on Fort Sam, I had a white NCO. He had never met a Puerto Rican woman before. And he made the cardinal mistake of calling this Puerto Rican woman Mexican.
Woo.
So I slowly stepped back. I was like, this dude's about to get cut.
He about to get it.
But this Puerto Rican woman, she looked at him, took her head to the side, rolled her eyes, crossed her arms, took a deep breath, and says, okay, you're ignorant. I'm about to educate you on the difference between Puerto Rican and Mexican. First of all, one is surrounded by water. The other one isn't. She educated him, and after she read him from his left side over the top of his head onto his right side, he says, well, okay, can you teach me the difference between the dialect between Spanish from Spain, Spanish from Mexico, and Spanish from Puerto Rico? She says, that's not a problem.
Yeah, it's different.
See, now you have the mindset that you want to learn, and you are not basing your entire knowledge on a race and ethnicity off of ignorance. But Ray, let's be honest. There are races who don't do research. Two R's that don't never meet. Two R's that never meet.
Yeah.
First person that met me was like, Richard, you look mean. You look angry. Why? Because I'm 6 foot and I'm a bald-headed black man?
So
and then they realize, go ahead,
I'm sorry.
They see me on the street, and then when they come into my class, they realize, like, wait a minute, that's the dude I saw at HEB with the headphones and the hoodie on. Now he's in front of my class teaching me something that I need. He's wearing a shirt, a tie, glasses, and he is speaking so articulate. But if that person would have took the opportunity to talk to me in HEB, he'd have realized that I am articulate, whether I'm in a tie and a three-piece suit, or whether I'm walking around in a pair of sweatpants with an Eagles jersey on. You can see how they throw the Eagles in there, right?
Fly Eagles, fly Eagles, yeah. Shout out to the Eagles for whooping the Cowboys on Sunday. I just want to put that out there, Richard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My cousin Dupree came up here, and he was like, they are really mad, Ray. I said, I keep trying to tell you, I live in Dallas, and I walk in with Eagles everything. Eagles mask, Eagles hat that my big brother bought for me. Thank you, Richard. Eagles mask, my brother Tommy bought for me. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, I even had a Wentz jersey on that my boy KFC of San Antonio bought. Everything I had on was bought by other people. I'm so blessed. You know what I'm saying? But the Cowboy fans was just upset. But so Hope, what do you think about that? And Rich, I'm gonna let you go. I'm sorry, I know you got things to do. But Hope, what is your thoughts?
I ain't doing nothing.
but
Richard is joining the show.
That was funny. Hope,
Yeah.
I want you to. I'm gonna send you a picture of Richard later on. Richard and I, when I first met each other, I walked up to him and I said, "You are a good-looking man." He said, "You are too." You know why? We look exactly alike.
Alike.
No, I kid you not. He has the beard. He's bald-headed, and we just started laughing when we first met each other. I was like, "This nigga's you my brother?" Like, and then when my daddy met him, my daddy just started laughing.
Okay, giggling, talking about, hey, boy, what's your mama name?
No. Hope, we was all at this place up here in Dallas, Vanetti's. And it was my dad, me, and Richard. And they just assumed my dad was the father of both of us. And my dad just giggled. He's like, yeah, we do look alike. You know what I'm saying? So them genes are strong.
But you know, God ain't going to sit up here and make everybody different. He got a set of folks, and he make the same folks over and over again.
Yeah, so, and, you know, and some of us, he just make it look better than the rest of y'all. So I'm just going to put that out. You know. So real quick, Hope, because I see time is going. What do you think our environment shapes our thoughts, and if so, how so, if you don't mind?
I do think our environment shapes our thoughts. I think that when we first got to this country, my uncle lived till he was 113 years old. So when you see that step and fetch it talking and all that, he was like, oh, no, that's for them. Because they don't think that we are educated. They don't know we can read. They don't know. So that's how we talk for them. But when they would talk to each other, they would talk just like this, you know? And so I was like, wow. And he was like, yeah. He says, I sat here on a horse and buggy one day, and the man he worked for told his son to take him somewhere. He said, and Uncle so-and-so, he'll go with you. And he was like, I don't need no nigga going with me. I know where I'm going. He said, oh, okay, well, he gonna go with you anyway. So my uncle brother got on the little cart and buggy, and he said he's sitting there looking at the sign that says which way you go to the little town that they were supposed to go to. He said, but he don't need no nigga, and I ain't no nigga. So I didn't tell him. He said, so we just ride. He's like, we ride all the way to the other place and come all the way back. So I think it's just that they let mass media, all the TV shows that they saw in the past, tell them that that's the way we speak. Then when they decided to come up with Ebonics and decide that that's the way we speak, you know, it was a problem. And now for some reason, since everyone has got away from education, I think that's what's good about COVID, is everybody is finding out your kids are not as smart as you thought they were. Your teachers were not teaching. Yeah, they're not. They're not as smart as you think they are. They're doing stuff like this is the beginning of a sentence and the letter's not capital. And then why in the world did you put a capital B here or a capital R here and it's a word? It's one word. Why does it have all these different letters in it? So people are finding out that their kids are not where we were. You know, they're not even doing that much. And I'm not saying the teachers aren't doing it. I'm saying that the curriculum that they've set forth for the teachers to teach, they're not able to do that. So I think that this is a good time. This is a good time for us to teach our own children, you know, and because you know me, I'll check you in a minute. One of my kids has said something because I'm a yellow bone. I said, hold on, girl, don't say that. And she's like, well, that's what I am. I said, no. Yellow bone was to make it okay for the master to come in there and had slept with your grandmother and your mama. And so it was okay because the kids are lighter. See, they look like master, but he ain't claiming none of them. And I'm like, so don't
Not
call
one.
yourself that. Don't call yourself that. Don't ever call yourself that. So I just think it's just a matter of what you learn at home, what you go out of your way to teach yourself, and what you carry. Because I've heard pastors say, well, Black people say auntie, and we don't say aunt. And so they'll go on and they talk about it. And I'm like, come here. When they finish, I'm like, auntie, we got that from Africa. We call, instead of saying sir and ma'am, which we were taught when we got to this country, we always address elders as auntie and uncle. So we're not mispronouncing the word.
Remember, Oprah Winfrey got mad when somebody called her auntie. Yeah.
When she got to Africa.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she got to Africa, and when she got off the plane, they said, welcome, auntie, and she got mad. Yeah. And so they were like, no, that's how we say Mr. and Mrs. So I think that, like you said, Richard said, you have to educate yourself. When you find out soup, that's not a white thing. And here we all think that's a white thing. That's a Black thing. You go to Africa, you have a soup before every single meal. Yeah. Before anything you eat. So you have to educate yourself and find out those things.
And you said something. Thank you so much, Richard. Y'all said something that was so dope, because when I began to travel, when I began to go outside of the United States, when I began to even go to different cities, I realized how small my thinking was. I began to go to different communities, because the hood in Columbus, Ohio is different than the hood in San Antonio, Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
But watch this. The hood in America is different than the hood in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Or the hood in there. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? The way people view you in Dubai is totally different than the way they're going to view you in Jebel Ali. You know what I'm saying? So I tell you, I said, look, man, when you begin to do that, your thinking would change. Now, here's the thing. When people do not expand their thought process, they think everybody else is strange. They think, oh, you're weird for thinking like that. No. What are you talking about? When I tell people this is westernized Christianity, they don't understand, because I've been to other countries where they don't care about your tithes and offering. They don't care nothing about no suits. They don't care nothing about the choir. They don't care nothing about, because in the Black church, if somebody's saying your mama song wrong, I'm ready to leave. If that musician cut off the pastor, it's like we have so many things that we maximize, and those people, they just happy to praise God. You know what I'm saying?
But those people are happy to praise God because the only place that the men were treated like men and the women were treated like women were in the Black church. So that's why we have, that's why this is organized this way, and this is organized this way, and that's why we do this for this person and this deacon and this, that, because that's where we got respect from one another. So if we don't do nothing else, and that comes from our ancestors. Exactly. If we don't do nothing else in church, we're going to respect everything that everybody has done, because he has to study to become a deacon. He has to study to be this. So that's why we do that. So that's why I'm just telling you why. Yeah, where I say, but that's why our Western religion is a little bit different. Yeah. And and you just have to, and once you know, you understand a little bit more. Yeah. I mean, it won't change me. If they talk to me crazy, they gonna get it. But yeah, they gonna get it.
So Richard, in case you have not realized, Hope is a gangster. She's a and somebody's commented earlier about her being very spoiled, and she doesn't think that she is. I just laugh sometimes. I'm like, I know you. You know what I'm saying? But Richard, thank you again for calling in. I will call you later when you chop it up anyway. About the what you got going on or whatever. Good things. Make sure I say that. Good things. But I definitely appreciate it. Anything you want to say before you dip out, brother?
Yeah, the good thing, I'm in charge of nothing. I'm in charge of nothing. I have no say-so. All I do is nod my head and blink.
So it sounds to me, if I can say it then, it sounds to me that you're ready for marriage.
Yeah, all I do is blink and nod my head. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I like the color. I can't stand that color. Yeah, if that's what you want, that's what we do. Yeah. Can we hurry up and go?
G watched this show, right? She watches the show, right? Okay.
I'm not worried about that because I've already said this before.
Okay. Well,
I sleep on the edge of the bed anyway.
I am working on trying to find me somebody that can punk me, but yeah,
Ooh.
the way my self-esteem is set up, I don't know if that's going to work anytime soon. I know one
She's
thing.
gonna have a cape on.
I can't date young girls no more. I need somebody that's going to recognize a stroke. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody that's going to know if I'm about to die. You know what I'm saying? Oh, look at him. He's so cute. Look at his face. Look how he making him face. Heifer, I'm almost dead. You know what I'm saying? That's what
He went from black to gray.
Girl, he is talented. He's David Bain. Now, Heifer, I'm dying. I'm dying over here.
Oh my God.
Man, we got to go, man. Hey, Rich, appreciate you, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too, brother.
All right, thanks for
Good to
calling.
meet you, Miss Hope.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Oh my God.
Oh,
Shout out
this
to
is
Rich. That's
funny.
my dude. That's my dude. That's my dude.
We're gonna do a list of what
We're going to do a list of what?
a list of what it is you are looking for. She can't be young. She can't have no middle school kids, or middle school or younger kids. We're gonna find her.
Look at man. I'm looking. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm really not looking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why you're gonna find her.
Because every time I looked, I hear some, whew, oh Lord, oh Lord.
We're gonna check their environment. We're gonna ask some questions.
We're gonna see if they're only child. If they're
Birth
only child,
order.
I ain't mess with no only childs. Like all only child that.
Well, what's your birth order?
Birth order. I'm the oldest with my daddy, but I'm also the baby or the middle child with my mom. So I'm just jacked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, whatever. That's
But that only child, you just got to do what she tell you to do. You be all right.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me.
Oh my God.
Hey y'all, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us today. Girl, Hope, thank you again, girl. For I know you sleepy. You look sleepy. You
Not
look
yet.
sleepy.
Do
You sleep? No, you don't. I just said that. I don't even know if that's something you're supposed to tell a woman. You look sleepy.
Yeah, because what am I
Girl,
looking like?
Girl, I remember. I ain't gonna say his name, but it was a pastor that come to get a haircut from me. And he was getting a haircut in the chair. And this lady said, "Hey, Reverend," said, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" You know the pastor stuff, right? And she said, "Oh, Pastor, you just look weathered. What they doing to you over there at that church?" He said, "What you say?" And I'm cutting his hair. I started tapping his shoulder. I'm like, "Pastor, calm down." He said, "What the?" And I ain't gonna say what he said. You know, that's my dude. He said, "What she just say?" I said, "Man, she said you look weathered. You about to die." And I just started. You look weathered. You know what I'm saying? And he sat there. He said, "Well, baby, just pray for me." That's really saying F you. Like if somebody says pray for me, they really ain't ask for prayer. They telling you you're number one. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, hey y'all, thank you again. Hope you got anything you want to say before we leave? Anything?
No, thank you guys for coming and joining us.
She said thanks for coming. She's so country. Thank you for coming. Sit on the front porch, baby.
Come on back.
I know a lot of people are watching the election. Hopefully next time we do this show, we'll have a president that's not orange. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my hope and my dream. I hope that we have a president that's not orange. And I hope we're not at war because it's a lot of crazy people out there. So y'all, please, whatever you do, please be careful because there's a lot of crazy people out there that are willing to die for what they believe because the environment has told them that we're dangerous and we're coming to take their guns and rape their women, which is retarded. I don't care about your gun. I damn sure don't want your women. Nothing like a sister.
That part.
That part. Anyway, thank y'all again. This is your boy Ray. Can't get right without the Lord. With my girl Hope to the good. Amen. I holler.